Nice to see you again, Kate. 2 days, 2 times a week, and Carol too. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. Donna, what time is it your time? It's early in the morning. Let's see. Usually I see you at 9. So that's 6 hours. It's really early your time. You're a Wonder Woman. I don't know if you ever sleep. 6 a.m. Wow, look at you. Hopefully you didn't get up at 4 a.m. to try to listen to the first one. Thank goodness, because I would have felt I already feel really bad. I would have felt really bad if you had done that. All right, we'll give everybody a minute to get on. If you were here the first time around, I am so sorry. I just was packing my retreat in a box, and it is just something where you just get in the zone and you focus. And I started at about 11, and I'm like, okay, I'll stop, right at a little bit before 1. Next thing I know, and I put my phone away because when my phone's near you, you're so distracted. So whenever I focus on something, I put my phone away. And anyway, it was like 11 and like 1:40, and I went to go get my phone to take a picture of all the boxes because it was incredible. And I saw Carol's message. I was like, oh my gosh. First she goes, Ronda, why aren't you on the Zoom or something? I'm like, Zoom? What are you talking about? And then I remember, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And so I'm sure many of you have been in the middle of a project, and you can totally understand how your brain can actually do that. All right, so I think I have chatted to you. Yeah, Tammy, you're in the right call. This one is called Golden Nuggets. I obviously plan a training every week. And one thing I found through obviously talking to Elite Mastermind, talking to many of you, talking to lots of demonstrators, one thing I've learned is that one thing I've gleaming is that the Earning the Incentive Trip series was awesome, but it's also a little overwhelming. It's a lot of information to digest. So since then, I've been trying to do training that is just going to help support what you're doing. Because if you really want to build your business, you need to follow the steps in their Earning the Incentive Trip series. It is the best training I can give you. It is the most comprehensive. It is the most down-to-earth, practical, duplicatable tips that I can give. But they're not easy either. I didn't choose easy. I chose realistic, and I chose effective over necessarily just saying what some people want to hear. So we didn't choose easy. So anyway, since then, I've been doing training topics that have been more easily put into practice, or ones that you can use in conjunction with what you're already doing. And today, as I was coming up with one, I chose Golden Nuggets. It was a training I did a long time ago. I actually tried to go back and look for that training, so in case I didn't want to miss any of them, and I couldn't find it. It was, I think, on like my computer from 2 computers ago. And it was just a list of things that are small. Some of these things are going to be real stupid. I shouldn't say stupid, real little. But they're things that are actually, I think, effective. They're things that make success. So a lot of times it's not always the big things that make success. It's a lot of little things that you do together. There are also, I think, some things that just kind of make my business running a little bit easier. And some of these, I actually, as I was going through, all of them are duplicated that I've talked about in training. But I know not everyone listens to every single training. So there might be some in here that you might be able to glean from it, or that it might be reminders to say, oh my gosh, that's right. Rhonda's told me that 10 times, I'll do it again. So definitely some of these things are not like earth shattering, but those are the things that sometimes we need to really listen to. Okay, so I'm just going to jump in. The reason why I did a Zoom call is because I am happy to make this an interactive call. So you are welcome to ask me questions. You can type questions off to the side. For those of you I'm sure most of you have all been on Zoom, at the bottom there's a button that's called chat, and you can click on that, and then you can type off to the side, and I'll see it. If you want to speak, just raise your hand and it will tell me so-and-so raised their hand. And then if I can, I will unmute you so you can actually speak as well. So at the end, if there's time, I will allow everyone, anybody to ask a question if they want to. Now, I do have to keep to a time frame, so I'll try to make sure that we don't go too far over. So, but I will hopefully give you some chance that you will be able to ask questions about anything that we're going over as well. So you can use a chat box and you can ask me questions as we go, or you can wait till the end and you can ask me then as well. But this is being recorded, so it is, that's why you are all muted, so everybody can have a pretty good thing. If your video is on, we can see you, just so you know. You can always stop your video if you don't want to be seen. I love seeing your faces, so you can leave it there. But if I've had people who've been like, eating or going to the bathroom or things like, turn your video off if you need to do those things. So you can easily stop your video as well. All right, so here's my golden nuggets, and they are not in order of importance except for maybe the first one. And then the rest of them are just what popped in my brain as I was thinking about over the last 3 days of some things that we do that I think are just what I call golden nugget. Number one is I have always and always do pray for my business every day. It is something that I know I hear all the time. How do you get it all done? Or, I've had people tell me everything you touch on it turns to gold, and that is simply not true. That's not true. Obviously, there's a lot of hard work there, but also every single day, I have always and always do pray for my business. It is supernatural. Some of the awesome things that have happened over the course of the 20 years that I've been a demonstrator. I pray for the right people to come into my life. When I'm at a craft fair, I pray, Lord, please bring me some people because I don't want to do this for nothing. I'm here specifically for some people. I know I am. I know they're out there. I know they love me and are going to love me and going to love what I have and love Stampin' Up. But I need you to bring them to me. I'm here. So obviously I put myself out there, but I do believe in our supernatural God that he can bring people into my life that need to be in my life. So I pray about that every day. I also pray that God helps me to open the right doors and know which doors I am meant to open. So that is, I think, one of my biggest golden nuggets is it's not just Rhonda. I have a lot of help. I have a lot of help from God above, and I have a lot of help from people here that he has brought into my life. He has brought me a lot of right people. And so I continue to always pray that. So that's my number one golden nugget. My number two, okay, again, so these are all just random. But they're things that people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. So number two is I love for my card classes to use the clips that clip to a basket. One of my number one pet peeves at a class was that my samples would come up missing, or people would take my sample and leave me theirs. The third one was that they would take my card and they would drop it in a stamp pad, and then it would ruin my card so I couldn't take pictures afterwards. It happened to every single class. And it's because we all had the cute little old ladies or people who aren't really paying attention, and they take my card, put it in their bag, and then leave me their jacked up one. And I'm like, what? Where did my sample go, right? So one of the best things I've ever done about 4 years ago is I use clips. They're from Display to Go. There's other places that carry them too. That's where I've gotten all of mine. They're expensive unless you can buy them in bulk. And then so we have a team member who buys them in bulk, and then she sells them at our events for us. My son Ryan also sells them on the Etsy store now, because not everybody can get them where they're at. Or you have to buy over 100 to get a pretty decent pricing on them. Anyway, I clip them to a basket. And since I've done that, I have a rule, and this is my rule: you are not allowed to remove the card from the basket. If you need to see the card closer, get up and move and look closer, or 2, move the basket, but do not ever take the card off the clip. If we see that happening, you are to get your hair pulled. That is what happens when you're at a class and you will remove the card from the basket. And that is exactly what I say. And no one ever moves the card from the basket. The only time everyone's gotten their hair pulled is actually me, because I went to go move the card because something was wrong with it. And as soon as I did it, someone pulled my hair. So it was kind of funny. Anyway, so that's my number golden nugget, is to use the clips and clip it to a basket. And you can, and you're welcome to offer to pull their hair if they move it. It works. And I've never had a problem of losing my sample since then. Number 3, I only swap full-size swap cards. Swap cards are a huge boost to my business because number 1, I use them for displays. So I don't have to create them. Number 2, I sell them afterwards. I have a card rack that is full of amazing cards, and I only made about a third of them. So I can sell them. So you're reaping back your benefit from your swap cards. The first thing I do is I make sure I put them in clear envelopes. If you do any of the swaps that I'm a part of, usually you are required, like when Carol does it, we require you to use Stampin' Up! Clear envelopes. So I also use them as bribery, huge bribery. So I use them for bribery for 2 things. And we're going to call it like it is. It's bribing. Number 1, if they bring a guest to one of my card classes, a new guest, then they and their friend get 5 cards off of my card rack. Now, if my card rack stunk and it was all just my normal cards that people are already making, that's not going to be motivating. But my card rack is full and it has tons of awesome cards on it. Ones that I've made and many, many that you've all made because I do put my swap cards on there. So I love to swap about 100 cards for every new catalog. And I think it's worth every single penny by doing swaps. But use them to build your business. Don't let them just sit in a bin. You have to use them. So I sell them and I give them for free. The other thing I do to get them for free is if they spend over $50 at class, they can walk right over to my card rack and pick 5 cards off of my card rack. And a lot of people come ready to do that. Also with online orders, several times a year, I will do a big package giveaway for them. And if they put in an online order, and usually it's got to be at least $50, then I will send them a package in the mail that the next month when it's over with usually 10 cards and usually some retired ribbon or something, which costs me nothing except for the postage. So, but for them, they're going to get 10 free cards and some sort of and again, it's like a retired embellishment. I've done retired buttons. I've done 6x6 paper, things like that. So use your swap cards. They can really grow your current business. Number 4, this is just for the US. This is not for international, but one of the best golden nugget secret things I didn't even know existed are flat rate padded envelopes. And you can only get them from online, the USPS.com. You cannot get them inside your post office. But if you want your post office to love you, order extra and take them in there to them. So now my post office carries them for everybody because I can give them to them. They can't order them. So my post office does love me. My new one does. My other one hated me and it would make me cry every time I was in there, but my new one loves me. And so flat rate padded envelopes, they are bigger than the other envelopes, and they're only about 50 cents more to ship, and they hold like quadruple the amount of stuff than if you're using regular flat rate envelopes. So they are, again, on the USPS.com. And you'll have to look that they are flat rate padded envelopes, and they're awesome. I order them by the hundreds so that I can have them on hand, and then that's what I use to ship probably 90% of all of my online classes. Number 5, I love, yes. As long as it seals, you can use it. Yep, exactly. And I have had that almost look like a box. I'm like, is this passable? And because I have to hold it, she's like, yep, as long as it seals, it works. So I love that. Okay. So my next one's number 5 is whenever I do Stamp-A-Stacks or card classes that are featuring like one stamp set, I cut extra kits and I use these to sell at my retreats. Every single kit I have ever put out at a retreat has sold. Every single one without fail. So I can make a lot of extra cash in my pocket by selling my extra kits. Now, if you don't have a retreat on your calendar, I don't know where you would sell these. You could probably sell them at future classes, but you'd have to have something on your calendar that would allow you to sell them. But so as soon as I'm done with my class and I've cut my extra kits, I have them labeled. Then I take the cards that I used for that class and I put them right in the packages, and then I put them right in a box that is for retreat. And I will, like this, my last retreat, I had like 24 classes. I sold them for $25 a piece. Do the math. I made $600 off of those extra kits. I was already cutting. I already ordered the paper. Those might have cost me $5 a piece. So anyway, keep that in mind, that if you have extra ones, yeah, so it'll say this. So for instance, my last one was for a good man card class. The stamp set's not included, but I have the stamp set over in my stash. So at my retreat, people can buy that, then they can make the cards there. So my classes don't typically include the stamp set. But if they're buying them at retreat, then they can just use my stamp set. Everything else is in the package that they need. Or if they just want to pick up, I allow them just buy the kits, and then they might have the stamp set at home, or they might want to buy the stamp set or something. So I always label all of my classes, so they're labeled. But if I didn't do it right away, so I have a box that I have where I put all of my extra classes with the sample cards, because I think the sample cards are what sell it. So I put the sample cards out with the packages, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's a cute class. And so they'll just pick them up. So you can purposely cut for extra if you want to, or this is just in case you are stuck with extra, you can get rid of them. But now I've been starting to cut for 3 to 5 extra for every one of my classes, more so that I can sell them at my retreat. But so far, even people afterwards, like, oh gosh, Rhonda, I missed the deadline, then I have an extra kit to sell. Number 6, which kind of goes along with this. For your product-based classes, and I teach this all the time. Like I said, these things are not nothing you probably haven't heard, but these are the true golden nuggets. These are the things that really, really work. Include consumables in your product-based classes and not stamp sets and bundles. Ones that include stamp sets and bundles are typically lower attended. But ones that include consumables are then, because stampers will be like, I don't like that stamp set, or they don't need to keep collecting stamp sets, but they want the cards, and we're typically by nature paper hoarders, ribbon whores, whatever you want to call us. That's what we are, and that's what they want more of and always want more of. We can always collect. We always have room for more ribbon. We always have room for more sparkly stuff. So, but sometimes when we're gathering stamp sets, people will think, oh, I have some that are just like that, or I already have a snowflake one, or I already have a star one. So they won't buy it. They won't come because of that. So include those consumables, and then offer the stamp set or bundle as an add-on, because you might have some people who do want it, and then it's an add-on. So of course, I just covered that pricing structure intently last week, but that's a golden nugget. I have done classes, and I still occasionally do, where it include a stamp set, and it is always my least attended. So like, for instance, I just did my retreat that I just was late for packing for, and I offered 3 optional classes. One of them included a stamp set, and it was stinking cute cards, way cute. And the other one was a sampler, and then the other one was cards that just included paper and ribbon. The one that had the sampler had the most attendance. My samplers always have the most attendance. That had 50 people who took it. My Feels Like Frost, which was paper and ribbon, that one had 48 people. So that was close. Still the same amount of cards. My one that included the stamp set, which was the best value, the stamp set was $23. I only charged them $25. I only had 22 people take it. So it just goes to show you, it was half the people took it. And I think because it included a stamp set, which I knew that, but I know that I can't handle 50, 50, 50. So I was okay with having a smaller one, and I always do it that way. So, if the ones that include the stamp set and include the bundle are lower attended. Another example, I used to have a stamp set of the month club just 2 years ago. And every month they got a stamp set, and then they made, the 8 cards, 4 different ones, and they made 2 of each. And I would have anywhere between 12 to 16 club members at all times. I let it go, and I switched it. I switched it about 2 years ago, not quite 2 years, maybe a year and a half ago. Now it's the same price, but I don't include the stamp set. I include a pack of paper, a bolt of ribbon, and an embellishment. I call it a goodie bag. And then they can add on the stamp set if they want to. I have over 74 members. And I'm telling you, it's because I don't include the stamp set. They can use whatever set they want to. But usually roughly about 10 to 15% still add on the stamp set. So they can still get it. It's just extra. So product-based classes, that is just some numbers that I'm sharing of my own, for example, but there are many, many, many of my people I work with, train with, that I've taught the same thing, and we see dramatic difference in their class attendance as well. Number 7, a golden nugget, and I've been doing this since I started because it's what I learned from my past direct sales experience, is to do a raffle at every one of my events. I always raffle. And I sell raffle tickets. So I sell 3 tickets for $5, 7 for $10, and 20 for $20. So to this point, I've not been put in jail yet for running raffles at my Stampin' Up! Events. If I do, you are more than welcome to not copy them. But as far as I know, it's so I don't have a gaming license, and I'm not trying to make a bunch of money from my raffle. I don't make any money, really. I use it to pay for the expenses of my rental. So if you have to rent a place, rent a hotel, rent a location, obviously pay rent somewhere to hold your classes, then I use the raffle to help either cover the complete cost of it, or I use it to help offset the cost of it. So at my monthly card class, where I used to have to pay rental, my rent was $50, and I would sell raffle tickets. And I told them whatever, and I raffle off host rewards. I raffle off, I get good prizes. I might raffle off a package of cards, things like that. So I have about 4, at my typical card class, I'd have about 3 or 4 prizes that I would raffle off, but they're good prizes. They're not retired junk. They're like brand new things, or like a big pack of cards, things like that. Once I collect over $50, then the rest of it goes towards a gift certificate for the last person that I draw. So I'm not pocketing money. I just want to pay for my room rental. So if I collected $75, then the other $25 I would put towards a gift certificate towards one person to get that. So that's just an example. But I do this at all of my monthly team meetings. That also, the raffle is there to make money. I mean, to offset costs, yes. But it's also there so that we have fun. So the raffle is so fun. If any of you have ever been to my events or come to them, you'll know, oh my gosh, these people are crazy about raffles. Well, everybody is. It's a lot of fun. So it gives that fun factor as well. So that's been a huge way for me to stay profitable at my events, because I can use my raffle to cover all of my room fees or room rentals or whatever expenses that I have. So I sell them also at my monthly team meetings as well. I only charge $5 for them to come. Make and takes usually cost at least $5. But then you also have, all of your recognition and your prizes and all that stuff, which I pull from my profit, but the raffle also helps just offset the cost again of room rental or other expenses that you have into your monthly team meeting. All right, number 8, talking about team meetings. Team meeting make and takes are one of the most imperative things that you do, and most important. Just making cute projects is really not very business effective. So team meeting make and takes are always and should always be a sample class. This is what makes it, people will say, well, my team doesn't want to come to team meetings. Well, first thing I say, well, what do you do for make and takes? Well, we just make a couple of cute cards, or we don't do make and takes. Or someone just brings one each month that we just kind of rotate doing. Well, that's not enough to make people want to come every single month. So having a sample class, it's an actual class that I would run, a class that I would hold, a class that maybe I am holding, or a class that someone else might hold. So they get to come, and this also, so it's happy for our hobbyists. It's well worth their $5. But then also one of the big things is now our business builders have a class that they can take and immediately go and copy. Or it takes our hobbyists who are thinking about maybe doing a class. Now they have the tools to do it. The class is sitting in their hand. They have to just go and show their friends and book it. So one of the biggest parts of this is also that we teach them the pricing. So we teach our teams how to price their classes so that there is profit and that there are sales. So we don't make this cute class and say, now go sell it for $5. No, this is a $20 class, or free with a minimum of a $20 order. Or this is a $30 class, and it includes the pack of paper, the bolt of ribbon, and the glitter dots. So we teach them how to make a product-based class out of it, or how to do it free with a purchase. So this is how we teach our teams how to be profitable and how to have sales so that they're growing, they're promoting, they're meeting their minimums, and then we're giving them the tools to be able to start a business when they're ready. Every month they come to the meeting, they have a class when they leave, or they have a really awesome business tool that they can use in their, even if they use it just for a display, just to sell something, they have a beautiful display afterwards. So team meeting make and takes are imperative. That also means you need to be charging for your team meetings, a minimum of at least $5 a month. Number 9, only use Stampin' Up! Envelopes and adhesive. I know it's tempting to use that knockoff stuff because you're going to save a few pennies, but you are costing yourself all the big dollars in the air when you choose to use knockoff brand adhesive and envelopes. First of all, it's respect. I mean, if my customers know I'm using some contraband stuff, they would too. And so would your downline. Everyone will. They will copy what you do. So I cannot tell you, I can't begin. I probably should have done the math if I could have, how much adhesive I sell in a year. It is in the tens of thousands probably. So that alone could get someone on the ship to earn that. But when you're using knockoff adhesive, or when you're using knockoff envelopes, or you're using knockoff white cardstock, or clear envelopes, or whatever it is, that gives the open door for your entire team to do it and all your customers. And you're thinking, well, they can just use it to buy something else. They might, but those are not mandatory things. Consumables that are mandatory are adhesive and envelopes and cardstock, and those things that are very, very, like, they have to have those. So why don't they purchase the have to have things from you? Or you show that you buy it from yourself. And if you do the math and you use your instant income and your volume rebate, or if you use host rewards, then you're not saving that much money by using knockoff brands. So, and that's something you want to make sure that you do from the very, very beginning. So whenever you use something that they call contraband, then it gives, number one, I think it almost immediately it takes respect down, like respect for your company, respect for your business. So, and also like, oh, well, if she's going to use something else, then I can use something else. So I definitely think that that's very, very important. Nikki asked, with your card bases, when you make them white, I use thick white for sure, Nikki, thick white or thick vanilla, if I'm going to use white. Yep. Okay, so number 10, and it's funny when someone comes, if you came to one of my team meetings and there was 35 or 40 people there, you might see 5 that are using contraband, and that's it. And they're usually getting, I one time was asking for, I was up doing a demonstration. I said, oh my gosh, I forgot my adhesive. So everyone's like, scrambling to give me adhesive. And someone came up and gave me, I know, it said, fake Tombow on it. It didn't say fake Tombow, but it was like, not our snail. I was like, what is this? So I don't want that. And so, I immediately gave it back to her. And I'm sure it embarrassed her, but that should be. I said, don't bring that crap in here. Like, we only use Stampin' Up! Stuff under these walls. So again, that was with my team. I wouldn't say that to my customers. My customers, I'll say, when that breaks, I can't help you. Like, I can't replace that. I said, if you're using mine and it stops working, then I can either, you can refill it here, or Stampin' Up! Has a 100% guarantee on it. All right. So, okay, Melinda, your question's not about any of this. Oh, wait a minute, it is about adhesive. Okay, you have a question. You want to hold my first online class, and how do I handle the adhesive thing? Well, they have to provide their own. All of my classes, everyone provides their own adhesive. I don't bring adhesive. I have it here for purchase if they want it. But there has been a class or two where we've made boxes, or last one we made, we altered one of the stamp cases, so it's plastic. And so to me, they had to have tear tape. So I included tear tape in the cost. That was one of their products that was included, was a bolt of tear tape. So otherwise, I will always just give a recommended, this is what I recommend for adhesive, but people always provide their own adhesive. Okay, number 10 is called patient recruiting. I believe in patient recruiting. Yes, I offer the starter kit to everybody, but I don't want to shove it down anybody's throat. I like patient recruiting, because when someone is coming to me, I like for them to be a customer for a little bit, learn the ropes, get comfortable, build that wish list. And yeah, guess what? They're going to put in pretty good size orders with me. And then eventually they're going to say, I continue to keep spending. Maybe now it's a good time for me to join. Yes, maybe now it is. I offered it to her from the very beginning. I offer it to everybody. So patient recruiting allows me to keep my personal business really strong. Sometimes I see people who, recruit this whole big group right away, really fast. Next thing you know, their personal business is really struggling because they just recruited 15 of their best customers or 10 of their best customers. And now what am I left with? So, and then of course, we're always left with building new customers. But I just today, someone said, Rhonda, I want to buy the starter kit. I'm like, great, let's do it. And then as we went through, she's a brand new customer. She decided, no, I'm just going to put an order in as a customer. I could have pushed her and said, no, let's do it. I mean, you could, but I said, like, it's okay. It's there when you're ready. Just go ahead and place your order. So I always do the right thing by giving it to them. And then I patiently, slowly will continue to recruit her and let her know, okay, the next time she comes, oh my gosh, your order is $100 again. Look at that. Don't forget, you can still get that discount. No, I just want you to place my order. Okay, I'm happy to. I love making money from you. And that is the truth. That's the truth. Like, go ahead. I'll take that money. That's full income from me. And then eventually, after a couple months, they start to see, okay, you're right. I am going to keep ordering. I didn't think I was going to, but now I'm totally addicted. So that patient recruiting, number one, it takes the stress off of me. If they say no, I'm always like, okay, you don't even know what you're saying no to, but that's all right. Like the woman today said no. Her order was $225. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. But I promise you, in a few months, she will sign up because she's going to realize that this discount is worth it. But the patient recruiting allows for me to keep my personal business still going strong. I'm still collecting sales from them as a customer, and I'm still building, like when I do events and classes, I'm still building my business while she's making her decisions. I don't know if that makes sense to any of you. But sometimes I see a lot of people just, recruit really heavy right away and just all these customers and get your discount, or you give your discount, and then your business is struggling very soon after. So we just want to make sure that we patient. A golden nugget to me is to patient recruit, is helping you keep, number one, not being stressed about it. Number two, keeping your personal sales still going strong while you're building your team. All right, number 11. Comparison is the thief of joy. That's not my quote. Obviously, you all know that, but that's a golden nugget that really helps me all the time. That's a golden nugget that someone else said, but it's so true. So what my golden nugget is that I have this ruler in my heart that as I'm like going through Facebook, or I'm reading emails, or I'm, let's say, doing Instagram or whatever, the quote is, comparison is the thief of joy. So I have this little ruler that when something irks me, or something bothers me, or something frustrates me, or something hurts my feelings, or something makes me feel like I'm comparing, or anything at all. And there's many different, everyone feels these feelings for different reasons, but there's something that is, then my job is to hit delete and unfollow or block. Like, I don't want to see that in my face, because it is thieving away my joy. A lot of times people do that when comparing yourselves to others. Like, you're constantly, there might be a person or a stamper or a crafter that you continually keep comparing yourself to, and it makes you feel less than. It makes you feel bad. It doesn't make you feel good. And when that happens, my recommendation is unfollow, block. And it has brought me, like, as soon as I feel that feeling, like, okay, I'm not supposed to look at that. I need to look at things that make me happy, that do bring me joy, that make me not irritated, not frustrated, or not things that don't bring me joy. So that is a tip I can give you that helps keep me in a good mental place. I know so many people compare themselves to others, and they get frustrated, and they don't feel like they're being as successful because you might not be doing what that person's doing. Well, you have no idea what's going on behind those closed doors either. Things usually are not as rosy as they seem. So, but if it's at all blocking your mental state, you hit delete or block or unfollow. I unfollow. because then that way I'll never have to see it again. And out of sight, out of mind. And that really helps me move forward in a positive way. Number 11, a real golden nugget is share some of your money with your spouse. I know it's a hard one. We like to take all of our money and go buy more stamps, or take all of our money and just keep putting it right back into our business. And then so many people are like, well, my husband's not supportive. My husband's not supportive. Or it might be a partner. So people, maybe a partner might be someone that you live with or whatever. And I think one of the big reasons why is because they don't even ever get to touch any of the money. We have our own little Stampin' Up account, and they don't get to see any of it. All they see is it is a negative, and these decreases. So one of my golden nuggets that I've always done, and not always, not in the beginning, because my husband and I struggled huge in the beginning coming to terms with my Stampin' Up business. But one thing I learned was this, that it was just always costing him money. He didn't get to enjoy the friendships and the love and the crafting and the joy. I got all of that, you know. He didn't get to experience any of that. It was always Rhonda leaving, Rhonda going, Rhonda leaving me with the kids, and Rhonda spending all my money. Like, why was this stamping thing in our life? So I learned that when I did an event, I had to come home and share some of my money with him. Money speaks to men, money and sex, I'll be honest with you. So I also had to not devoid him of that. And I was gone. I was busy. I didn't go to bed with him. And so when I would pull away from those areas too, he got to be very, just not supportive is the best way I can say. So I can't help you with that portion, but I can help you with the money. So when you do an event, it is really important that you give him some money. And even now, I still to this day always come home from an event and I'm like, okay, here's your portion. So you don't have to go to the bank this week. Here's cash. I have cash. Here you go. So I get paid from the money that goes into my bank from Stampin' Up, from all my volume rebates and my check. So that the instant income I get, or the cash I get from an event, a lot of it I give to my husband, or sometimes even to the kids. You know, it's not, I don't just give them money, but hey, let's go buy you a pair of shoes that you want right now. And they can see this is get paid from my work. And so they're not as, they're a little bit more patient and definitely more understanding. And my husband is so much more supportive when he knows I'm leaving, but then there's money on the counter when I'm done. So we have to share some of that. I know that's very difficult to do because you want to put it all right back in or buy more stamps or buy more stuff, but we have to share that in order for them to have that support. Number 12 is to get a housekeeper. I know you think you can't afford it. I know I couldn't afford it when I had a housekeeper as well, but I needed my sanity. And again, I wasn't cleaning my house because I was stamping. And again, I had a kind of an unhappy husband about that. And so I had to take care of it. So on my own, I got a housekeeper. And I kept thinking, and I started off with just once a month, and then I went to every other week. And I kept thinking, how can I afford this housekeeper? So I would take it from, I worked hard. I had an event that I would take to pay for that housekeeper. So that was one of my biggest golden nuggets that has saved me. I can't even tell you how much stress. I am never stressed about a messy house, really, because every 2 weeks I have a housekeeper who comes and we have to pick it up as a family. And this has been probably 18 years that I've had a housekeeper. And I can tell you right now that when I started, I could not afford it. Like, I had to choose to eat cereal for one night a week and then take one of my events and take money from there so that I was able to afford it. We could not, as a married couple or anything, be able to. But I knew if I was going to be able to continue to keep working like I wanted to work and not have my husband nagging me constantly about a dirty house, then I had to do something about it. Number 13 on that same lines, something that has brought me so much joy, so much peace lately, and so much good feelings is HelloFresh. It's the meal making company. They also have Blue Apron. They also have the thing called Dinnerly, Home Chef. There's all of them. I use HelloFresh, and I get 3 meals sent to me every single week. The stress and the guilt, so guilty of not cooking my family dinner. It would eat me up. And then it was my husband would say, "What's for dinner?" And I'd be like, I'm going to punch you right now. I don't know. I've been working all day. So if you want to feel like it's not his fault. He's asking me such a generic question, but I didn't know. I can't think. And I know I should plan in advance. I know I should use a crock pot, but I'm not. And so every week it was a constant stress for me to know what's for dinner. And now this, it has been completely such a stress reliever. And I hate to cook. I've never been a cooker. And the one thing I love about HelloFresh is, or any of these meals, is that you have to follow a recipe and there's no minute in there that you are wasted. So for an hour, all I do is follow directions and do what they tell me to do. And then it comes out phenomenal. And so I also think that's just like what our classes are. Why people love my online classes, because they don't, they know how to cook. They could do it from scratch if they wanted to, but instead have everything ready, everything there. Here's your instructions, comes out beautiful. So it's the same concept as our online classes, I think, too. And I can't think during that time frame. All the stress I had from the day is gone by the time I'm done with that dinner. And I know that sounds crazy, but it is. And so because I can't do anything else but just follow that recipe and cook. And I've never been a cooker. And so it's been something. So that's been one of my newest golden nuggets. It's really helped me emotionally and to be a better mom and wife. Number 14 is to start an investment right now. When I very first started, about 5 years into Stampin' Up, I can't remember. I remember wanting to, we don't have an investment plan through Stampin' Up. So I went, just little old Ronda. I was 25 years old. I can't remember, 26 years old. And I went to my insurance guy. And I said, I want to start a monthly investment and I want to take one of my classes and I want to take whatever my profit is and I want to put it into it and I want to invest it. And he was like, okay, what do you do? And so whatever, he didn't get it. So that's what I did. And I started it. Yeah. I can't remember how many years ago. And when I just went and bought our new house 2 years ago, I did $50 a month is all I invested every single month for 12 months. I wanted to do whatever and it was always, so my card classes, the last Monday of the month, my investment would come out on the last Tuesday of the month, every single month, like clockwork. And so I would, in the beginning, I would always use that money and put it into and it came out of my Stampin' Up account is where it came out of. And anyway, that is to me is a golden nugget, to take something and let it build and let it build. And then it was 2 years ago. So 17 years later, we went to go purchase our house. And I was able to take that investment. It was $10,000 is what was in that investment. And I used that towards the down payment of our home. So it was huge to be able to see, that little bit invest. So even if you don't make very much money, I know not everybody makes a lot of money doing this. You can afford $50 a month to put into a Stampin' Up investment, and then just let it go. Let it every month. Put that $50 in. Put that $50 in. So then at the end of the year, oh my gosh, you know what? And then it starts to grow because it's in an investment account. And before I know it, and I knew it, I felt like my business was doing something. And then eventually you might be able to change it to $100 if you want to. I kept it at 50 because it was for that class. And anyway, that's just one of my golden nuggets is, you have to be disciplined to know that you can make money doing this, but you got to do something with that money. So you could also do it towards a charity maybe. So maybe some of you aren't doing this for the money, but you could put that money into a savings account and at the end of the year, donate that specifically to a charity or something. But that way you will see something good come out of your business and you'll feel good about it and you'll see it. Sometimes now we don't see it because we're too busy spending it. But if it automatically goes into that account, and at the end of the year, you can take it and you can do something with it. Or for me, I just let it keep building because I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just knew I wanted to do something of substance someday. One of my downline did this. She did it for 7 years and she took, it was like 5 years and she took all of her money. She never touched her Stampin' Up money, any of her money that came from Stampin' Up, and she bought her car in cash for $10,000. And that was really cool too. So that's one of my golden nuggets is to pick something specific and put the money towards it, pick an event or do something and watch it grow. Number 15 is to never do an event alone, ever. I never do an event alone and never have. It's been, 20 years, 19 years. I always have someone with me helping me. It's either a friend, It's either a downline member, it's a helper, but I never do an event alone. Many times it's my new recruits coming with me. I usually have 2 or 3 people who do every single event with me. And there's many powerful parts to this. Number one, I realize I am codependent. I don't like doing stuff alone. I like to do, now I do, Tammy, but I didn't to begin with. I just say, hey, do you want to go to a card class with me? Hey, do you want to do this with me? Hey, I'm inviting my new recruits to come with me or my team to come with me. And I did this from the very beginning. I just never do an event alone. Now I may have someone who comes and helps me. And yes, I give them the class for free. I don't compensate any money or even compensate any free product. They just get to come to do the event. They get to come and take the class for free. But they have to come early and help me set up, and then they have to tear down. So those are things that really help me to build leaders. And they're things that just help me run my business with a lot less stress and a lot more fun. For me, it's actually about the fun. I like to have fun with my friends and fun with my stampers, and an event, even though it's work, can be fun when you're doing it with someone that you enjoy. Or as a leader, I can double dip, and it's also training for a new team member. Number 16, never stamp thank yous and never stamp swaps alone, ever. Sitting in your room late at night, stamping your swap cards is such wasted time. But if you did it on a Friday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon with your team members, your leaders, that is time that is powerful. That's where you're brainstorming, you're laughing, you're giggling, you're uniting, you're bonding. Or I'll have people that will just come over and help me. Hey, do you want to stamp with me on Friday? I can give you coffee and my smile. But I've got 100 swap cards that have to get done. Never, ever, ever stamp your swap cards or your thank you cards alone. You just have to invite your team to come and stamp theirs. I'm not paying them to help me. I just don't do it. I just want to do it by myself. Bring your thank you cards and let's do them together. Bring your swaps. Let's do them together. Whoever's doing swaps, I'm doing swaps on Sunday. Who wants to stamp them? That time, you either stamp by yourself and get nothing out of it, or you stamp with your leaders, or you stamp with a friend, you stamp with a team member, and now you're building relationships and you're teaching and you're training and you're showing right along the way. So don't ever stamp them alone. I don't think I have ever stamped a thank you card or a swap card alone. Back in the very beginning, even when I was brand new, my team, we'd get together every Friday. There's like 4 of us. We were little, but we would stamp our thank you cards for the whole next month together. Or we would stamp our downline cards together. My leaders and I would say, hey, whose house do we want to go to? Of course, now it's difficult because my team is huge. But when we were little, I never stamped a thank you card by myself or a swap card. And I still don't today. That's because I have people who are always in my studio with me, but it's just something that I will always have, that time will always be business building and not just me stamping by myself. This is just a golden nugget. I did that just because it's who I am. But in the hindsight, anybody who I've stamped with or done swap cards with, they have developed into some of the most powerful people in my team. And so and our relationships and our bonding are all huge. And I know it's because of that time we spent together. Number 17, never. Hey, I'm going never again. Never do an event alone. Never stamp your thank you swap cards alone. Never be the only person to present at your meetings. Never be the only face and voice people hear. So you want to make sure you have other people who are speaking and presenting at your meetings. It is not the Ronda show. It is the team show, and everybody has something to share. Number 18, weekly Facebook Lives on my business page dramatically changed my business 2 years ago. And that's just a golden nugget. That's just truth. So dramatically changed my business. Number 19, consistency is everything. You could do so many things so good, but if you're sporadic, then your results are going to be really sporadic. Consistency is the foundation for every single thing you do. That's not really a golden nugget, but that's a golden nugget. Number 2, emails really work, but only if you use them. So you have to use them very consistently. I'm almost done. I got about 5 left. Designing. When you design for a class, people waste so much time designing for hours and hours and hours and hours. And it can be frustrating. So a tip for designing is that you pick a bundle or a stamp set, you pick a pack of paper and grab a matching ribbon, grab the coordinating cardstock, and some sort of embellishment that matches. And then that's all you have. That's all you use. And that's what you design with for your class. I always will have free reign to use pearls, rhinestones, burlap, and baker's twine. Those I can always use, but that will help you when you design so much quicker and more efficient. And actually, your projects will probably look a lot better too. Next golden nugget. I stopped numbering, so I don't know where I'm at. Getting help. People who get help are happier and they stay sane. I think one of the main reasons why I'm able to avoid burnout and I see so many people hit a brick wall, it's typically because they're not getting any help. Having people around you just keeps you happier too, and it helps you maintain your sanity and from getting burnout. So getting help, and I've already, obviously, that seems to be a theme here, right? Stamping with people. And just getting help in general. And just so you know, I always hear people say, well, nobody wants to help me. Like, well, did you ask anybody? Have you said, hey, or remember, it's about you helping them. So if I'm getting help at my events or help with my swap cards or help with my thank yous, I'm telling them to bring theirs too. I'm telling them to, like, let's learn how to do classes together. So this is benefits them just as much as it benefits me. But getting help is something when it definitely just keeps me happier, can keep you happier, and it will help you avoiding burnout. It also will help you keep consistent. If you have somebody who is coming every week to help you, you're not able to hide on the desk and avoid what you're supposed to be doing. They're coming, so you have to get ready for them to come. So getting a helper on a consistent basis is one of the key ways for you to stay consistent. And again, you don't have to pay them. It could just be coming to help because you're my friend, or it can be coming to help because I'll give you your class for free. You know, eventually when you start taking it more seriously and you're making money from what they're doing, then you might be able to compensate them. The next golden nugget is to partner with other demonstrators. I cannot tell you how much I believe in this. Partnering with other demonstrators, it's half the work, but then you get the full profit afterwards. So I partner with many different demonstrators on classes, online classes. You give me a class, I'll give you a class. And then but we all still take our own customers. Like, I still sell to my customers, but I only had to design one class instead of designing two. So obviously you're going to partner with somebody who is talented and you trust their artwork and you trust what they're going to do. And you have to have a deadline. Get to me your class by this day. I get you my class by that day. And we talk a lot on the phone. So again, it's fun. Like, you spend time with this person. I, again, have threatened to get my hair pulled all the time from some of mine, or vice versa. So, but partnering with other demonstrators. I partner with the ones even here in the U.S. And people will be like, oh my gosh, aren't you going to drive your customers to them? Maybe, maybe not. And maybe if I do, that's okay. I'm not afraid of losing my customers. My customers are going to come to me because of me. And if they start buying from someone else, that didn't say much about me to begin with. And I believe it goes both ways. Doesn't that mean that she is going to also introduce me to some of her customers? And that's okay. We have a mutual respect for each other. And I truly believe and trust in the fact that you have a close enough relationship with your own customers that they're going to keep coming to you. So I love to partner with other demonstrators. In my mind, it's half the work, and I get the same amount of results at the end, and sometimes better. When I partner, my classes are usually higher. I think people are curious about that. It's okay to partner with someone in a different buying market. It's actually sometimes the best, Donna. If you partner with someone from a different country, then there is no competition, at all, because my customers can't buy from you and your customers can't buy from me. So it's actually all, and I partner with Ange McKay in Canada on a lot of things, and I love it. And I go, buy. I can build her up as much as if I can. And not that we do a lot of things together, but it doesn't hurt me. They can't buy from me. So it only can benefit both of us. And she does the same thing for me. If she has US people, she sends them my way. So it's something that we can definitely partner up together. So from a different market. Now, it's difficult sometimes because paper sizes is different in some of the markets. And then also some of the measurements are different. So I'm not sure how all that works. So next is help your team with marketing. Okay, so I like to share all of my emails with my team. Not because I'm trying to sell to them, not because I'm trying to get them to come to my class. A lot of times I'll say, here's a sample of, like today, here's a sample of the email that I sent out for the sale. boom, guys, go do it. Go copy it. I want you to use it. So if you're sending out an email to your customers, don't be afraid to copy it and send it to your team and tell them to use it as a sample. You'll be so surprised that most people struggle with the marketing portion the most in their business. They're afraid to sound pushy. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to present it. So if you can help them with that, that's tremendous. So sharing that. 2 more nuggets. Thank yous, I think, are so important. And that's a golden nugget. People will shop from people who send them thank yous in the mail. Obviously, with your little note on a Post-it note. And then I like to slip little goodies in there sometimes. It might just be a little bookmark or a tag, or sometimes if I got things for free, I'll put a little retired ribbon in there. Whatever. I like to send little presents in my thank yous. Sometimes, not always. Again, they're just little surprises. And then lastly, all the cardboard, going back to shipping again, all the cardboard that comes with all of our foils, our papers, our glimmers, all of our designer series papers, I save all of that. And it really helps me in my shipping expenses because I can use those as fillers in all of those padded envelopes so that things don't get bent. To buy them is actually pretty expensive. So we get them for free. You just have to make sure you save them or ask your team to save them for you so that you can get even more, so that as you're shipping things, it will keep your costs down. All right. Okay, that was it. I mean, that's it for today. There's obviously a lot more golden nuggets, but that was it. And we hit about an hour. Is there any question? I think we answered most of them as we went along. But does anybody else have any questions about anything that I talked about today that you want to have elaborated on, or anything at all? I'm not seeing any hands being raised, so that's good. All right, thank you so much for joining today and for being patient and coming 2 hours later. I will, thanks. I'm glad you guys, again, some of them are really basic things or things you've heard a million times, but those are things, if I say it a million times, it's probably because it's a really important golden nugget. Donna says, do you sell the pre-cut kits? Do you add PDFs? The ones I sell at the retreat? No, I send them the email. So I've already done a PDF. So when they buy the kit at the retreat, I'll have the real cards there. They're welcome to use to copy from. Or a lot of them will say, oh, I just want to copy it at home later. And I'll just email them the PDF right there. So you can print them and have them there if they want to. Or the ones that are going to make it live, I just have the cards there they can copy. But anyone who purchases them, I always tell them that I will email them the PDF, and I do it right there. Like I'll have my computer set up, and I'll say, okay, where it is, boom, 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 and I'll email it to them. But yeah, that has really, it was a substantial jump in money that I got when I started doing selling those past kits. I was really happy. So that was just a little golden nugget that I never did that before. I mean, this is the first year I've sold leftover kits. And it was because I screwed up actually on 2 classes. I screwed up my number and ordered like 6 more than I was supposed to. And I was like, oh man, Ronda, you just lost all that money. You're so, I always learn from my hard lessons too. And, oh, the sticker on my envelope. Yeah, I put that, that was in my thing. So one of my things I've been doing to really help protect when you use the padded envelopes, they're awesome, awesome, awesome. But sometimes because they're so awesome, the post office can bend the things. And of course, what we ship is paper. So we have to be really, really careful. Let me, I have a little shipping station in my little closet here. Oh, here they are. This is just one of them. It says, do not bend or crush. It's a big, huge pink. They're on Amazon. They're pretty inexpensive. But they have a bunch that say, do not bend. But this one, I think, really kind of like catches the eye of the post office. And it just says, do not crush, bend, or fold. And I have gotten so much positive feedback. I started that about 3 or 4 months ago from people who order from me all the time. And they're like, Ronda, it is amazing what that little pink sticker has done. My post office lady just drove up your package instead of usually they're shoving it in the mailbox. So that has actually helped quite a bit. And yeah, it's an added expense, but in my mind, if my packages ever come all mutilated and bent up, people probably won't order from me again. They might give me a second chance. They might not. So I need to make packaging as really a very intense part of online classes that I didn't take into consideration. It has been a huge learning curve. So that was just one of the things that's really helped, is those stickers. All right, you guys have an awesome day. Thank you for being here, and thanks for your patience, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.